Welcome and thank you for coming to our session on campus safety. We like to call this Protecting Your Student, Campus Safety, Security, and Support. My name is Lauren Ward. I run our Violence Intervention and Prevention, or VIP, Center here at Creighton.
And I'm Mike Reiner. I'm the Director of Public Safety, and I'll bring the second half of the presentation.
All right, so we're going to just jump in and start off, obviously, with more information about the VIP Center, what we do and what we offer here on campus. It's not just your student, but also you. Sometimes works. So I'm going to start by telling you a little bit more about our advocacy support services and how we really serve students on campus. A little bit about risk reduction, and then really talking about our prevention program on campus, which is called Green Dot. It's a bystander intervention program that we ask students to get involved in. And we're going to tell you about our new location as well. So advocacy in the VIP Center, we are really honored to offer these services here on campus. Creighton is the first and only university in the state of Nebraska to have a full-time campus-based advocate. We actually have two. So we're really proud of that commitment. It's not just lip service. We actually have resources and people behind that commitment that we have to really get ahead of this issue. So this is my colleague Meredith Lyric. She's off over the summer, so I show you her picture. And what we do is really offer free, individualized, confidential support to those impacted mainly around issues of sexual violence, dating violence, stalking, and harassment. People can choose really what services they want, and I'll go through a couple of kind of examples of what that might look like. But really, one thing that I want to pull out of that is that it's confidential. There's only two other places on campus that are also confidential, and that's student counseling and our Jesuits and the right of confession. So obviously different areas of expertise, but that's really something that's very important. This is our area of expertise, and it's a confidential space so that students feel like they can really come into a space where there's no mandatory report, there's no report to the university or honestly to parents, where they can really explore their options and start their journey from recovering through the trauma that they've experienced. And that's really important to their healing. So some examples of some services. Sometimes this works and sometimes it doesn't. So really this is endless, the types of services that we would offer to someone. But these are some of the more common examples. So things like safety planning, academic accommodations. That might look like me communicating with your students' professors and saying, hey, they're really going through something personal and really serious right now. Can they have a makeup exam? Or can they have some leniency around attendance policy right now? Something like that. So the student doesn't necessarily have to disclose everything, but it's also legitimized so that they can really still be successful as a student and do what they came here to do. We don't want people to have to drop out of school or take incompletes and things like that. We want to try to help them be a student as much as possible while they're handling everything else. Housing and job placement accommodations. Sometimes their room, their place that they're staying in may no longer feel safe. And so we can help them kind of change that arrangement, change that assignment so that it's something that kind of gives them more safety as they're recovering. Similarly with job placement accommodations, let's say somebody has a work-study job and they work in one of these beautiful glass-fronted offices where they can easily be seen. If that doesn't feel safe and healing to them in that moment, maybe we can talk to their supervisor, get them a different assignment or a different desk during their job so that they can feel more safe and still earn some money and still work that job. A lot of people that we work with do decide to report either to law enforcement and or the university through our Title IX process, which is maybe a term you're familiar with. Something that's so unique and amazing about what we do as advocates is that we are truly a common thread for that person from the moment they make contact with us. So if they are going through any of these processes, we're there with them. We're helping to explain what those processes and those options are, what could be gained, what could be lost. It's a really personal decision to decide if they're going to report and where. So we help them navigate that. And then we're there literally with them as they're doing any of these options that they're taking. So that could be, let's say, reporting to the university. We're helping them understand what that process looks like before they step into it. And then we're literally in the chair next to them as they're in interviews and kind of going through that entire investigation at the university. Similarly, if they have any court hearings, medical exams, follow-up testing, need to apply for a protection order through the courthouse, again, those are our areas of expertise, and we're going to be with them and help them navigate through all of that. Lots of the resources that we provide are how to assist a friend. So we serve both first and second-hand survivors of any of the forms of violence that I listed. And that also includes you as a parent, as maybe that second-hand person. So something that I always like to really pause and highlight is that we are here to serve you as well. One of the things that we noticed when we looked at our service statistics from last year was 13% of the people that we served were parents, which is actually more than faculty and staff combined, which was just under 10% last year. So truly, I want you to hear that, and that's one of the reasons why we wanted to really create this session starting this year and get in front of parents, is to know that we're here for you as well, and it's also confidential. So unless you're signing releases of information each way, you get that safe confidential space where you can kind of process through what you're watching your student go through. And that might even be without your student coming in for services. Sometimes we're serving just the parent. Sometimes we're serving just the student. But I know they're away from home. Sometimes they're further or they're away from home. It's just like, what are they able to access while they're there? And so I can speak from experience when we are able to serve parents, whether that's over the phone, in person, via Skype, whatever, there's just kind of that piece, knowing these are the types of things that the VIP Center can offer to them. This is what services would look like if somebody was reporting to the university, and all of the things that they can do in that kind of situation. So just please know that we really are here, and we like to serve you if you have questions, if you need support through things, if you want to know, what do I say, what do I not say, I'm so frustrated, can I vent that to you instead of my student? Yes, that's what we're here for. And then also referrals. So I mentioned some of the other confidential places on campus would be our Center for Student Counseling, Jesuits on the Right of Confession, and then we also have the WCAA, or Women's Center for Advancement, which is basically our Omaha counterpart on a larger scale. So the WCAA serves around issues of sexual assault and domestic violence for all of Douglas County. They run a 24-hour hotline. We don't, so that's one of the things that we often refer if somebody needs middle of the night talking support. Included a couple of quotes up here from people who have used our services in the past year. These are shared with permission, but just to help you kind of understand a little bit more about the impact of our services in the VIP Center. I guess I want to start by saying we're not going to tell you it doesn't happen here, because there's literally nowhere in the world it doesn't happen. And we are kind of proud to lead with that truth, and also the services to match the impact. And so that's something that I'm really proud of Creighton, that we have these 2 full-time staff here. We also have a student team that works, we have 4 student team members who work half-time in our office to help us with the programming and events that we do throughout the year. But last year we served 174 people, both first and second-hand survivors. Like I said, many of those were parents. So please know that we have the services to match the issue here, and that's something that is an honor. So some of the things that people are saying is that this has enabled them to remain a student. It's enabled them to feel more safe on campus. We've had people every semester say that our services have saved their lives. Knowing that there's such a specialized, safe, confidential place for people to come makes them feel insecure, or secure in an insecure situation, makes them feel safe, makes them feel empowered. And so we really want people to get connected with advocates as early on as possible following an incident, so we can help them through that healing process. Would be remiss if I didn't share a few risk reduction tips that you could certainly share with your student. And when I say drinks, I mean alcoholic or not. People kind of have a misconception sometimes that only alcoholic drinks can be drugged, and that's just not the case. So we encourage people to make or pour your own drinks, or watch your drinks being made or poured. And also not to switch drinks, even with perceived friends, because unfortunately, the overwhelming majority of the time that somebody is harming us with power-based personal violence, it's somebody that we know. 85 to 90% of the time, it's somebody that we know. So we just tell people, don't switch drinks, or make your own drinks even if a friend is offering, that kind of thing. Make a plan ahead of time. For example, how are you getting home? Are you using Uber? Is there a DD that's coming back to take you guys back to campus? We also really encourage people to set their own sexual boundaries and limits before they go out or before they go on a date. The more early on that somebody's having that conversation with themselves and setting those limits, the more empowered they're going to feel once that situation is actually arising later. So we just want people to think about that ahead of time. Another thing is to bring your Charge Palm device, and Mike's going to talk more about that in a little bit. But I think one of the big benefits of having this Bluetooth device that can help you call for help is that people are thinking about calling for help ahead of time before they need it. So that's one of those things that can be a risk reduction technique, that people are thinking about that, they have the awareness, and they have a plan. And anytime you go into a situation with a plan, inherently you're going to feel more empowered. So for prevention, we have adopted a national program called Green Dot, which is a bystander intervention program that we've implemented across campus. I've been doing this work almost 17 years, and for way longer than that, we didn't really have a great way to prevent things like sexual assault and dating violence. We had presentations like this, one-time presentations, and we just hoped the people in the room that might perpetrate just wouldn't after hearing our magical talk in 30 minutes or whatever, right? Guess what? It didn't happen. It had no impact on prevention, but we kept doing it because we had nothing else, and at least we were raising awareness. Then finally, research came out that showed that bystander intervention was really, really effective. So if we can't get to that one person who's making that decision to harm somebody else, what if we can get to all the people around that person who can be more clued in about looking for signs, looking for warning signs before things are happening, where they can intervene before they're isolated, right? Before the violence is happening, where there's almost always no witnesses, right? And Green Dot is one of those bystander intervention programs. We're not necessarily telling people, go get between two folks who are about to punch each other in the face. I'm not going to do that. Green Dot doesn't tell you to do that. It really helps you find ways to intervene that really observe your own personal barriers, but that still stop what's about to happen from happening. And so we ask students to come to this one-time training. It's a 4-hour training that we offer for free through a grant. We feed them, we give them a t-shirt, we give them a door placard to really raise awareness and be proactive, and really so that they can implement prevention with their own words and actions. So choosing in that single moment in time to intervene when they see those red flags happening. What we know is that when Green Dot is fully implemented on a campus, and implemented well, it can actually reduce violence by 50%, which is amazing. Now, I work more than 40 hours a week, so does Mike, so does my colleague in the VIP center, and guess what? If we don't have people coming to Green Dot trainings, that's not gonna really do a lot in prevention, right? So that's one of the reasons why we bring that up today, is to encourage your students to come and get Green Dot certified. It's a really fun, interactive training, and they're the ones that are gonna be at parties or in the res halls at 11 p.m. when something's about to go down. That's really what impacts change. And so if you come to the expo tomorrow during lunch, your student can write down their new email address, and we'll email them the list of the dates for the next year. Green Dots can be proactive, like maybe having a conversation with your student about consent before they go to school in August, encouraging them to get on our listserv tomorrow, or reactive, like I said, interrupting something that's in the process of about to happen. Don't even try. Thank you. So like I said, we really want people to get more involved because that's the way that prevention happens. And we're really proud to have our highest numbers ever. We had over 600 people trained last academic year as bystanders, active bystanders in our community. And yeah, I think thank you. This doesn't always work. We have all of our trainings for the next upcoming year already set so that students can really plan that in their schedule. They're about to be on our website, but like I said, on our listserv or also on our social media, we always post about those when registration is open. Our motto for Green Dot is no one has to do everything, but everyone has to do something. And that's really a community norm that we want people to adopt as they enter our community, because again, that's how we get ahead of this issue and create less need for our advocacy and response services. I just want to draw your attention to our new location. When school starts, we're going to be in Lower Brandeis Hall, which is Brandeis is where the main dining hall is going to be. That's opening in time for the school year as well. You can get down to Lower Brandeis there or over here with some steps. And we're going to have a brand new custom space in the VIP center where students can come receive services or just hang out kind of between classes or have lunch with us, whatever they want. So yeah, Brandeis Hall come August.
I'm Mike Reiner, Director of Public Safety. I've been here 18 months now, retired Air Force Security Forces officer. And I think my background really has prepared me well for the transition to campus security. For the past 26 years, I've been leading men and women the same age as your students. That 18 to 24 demographic, first time out of home, maybe exploring some boundaries and maybe getting in a little trouble and hopefully learning from their mistakes and growing through that process. I went to the Air Force Academy and later worked at the Air Force Academy. So both, I have the firsthand experience of going to a tough academic institution, but also helping students to work their way through a tough academic institution. So I'm very happy to be here. I love what I do, and it's my second summer preview. Will be my second full school year. I'm going to tell you a little bit this morning about where we are, what we do for your students, and I'll talk also about transportation and parking because that impacts your safety and security as well. So our location is at 2222 Burt Street. We're right here at Harper Center right now. Our building is attached to the child care facility, so I get to watch the little kids all day out my office window. We're just down the hill from Dagelman Circle if you're heading toward the McDonald's. So we are not a sworn law enforcement agency. We don't have arrest powers. We are armed private security force. So our officers carry Glocks, and we are on duty 24/7, 365. We cover each shift, each 8-hour shift with a shift supervisor, a dispatcher, and anywhere from 3 to 5 public safety officers at all times. For anything very serious, we'll bring in Omaha Police Department and, if necessary, the Douglas County Sheriff's Office. But most frequently, we work with the Omaha Police Department. We have a very good relationship with them. We're in the northeast precinct of Omaha, and we work closely with the precinct captain. As far as security technology, we have over 300 security cameras covering our campus, both inside facilities and outside. We've recently upgraded our system, so we now have 7 monitors at our dispatch, and we record 60 days of footage so that we can go back and figure out things that have happened, even if they're not reported in a timely manner. We've also fully integrated our card access system with our video surveillance. What that means is if there's a card access event, such as a student swiping into a certain door, if there's a camera associated with that door, we can pull up not only the card swipe time, but also the video showing the person coming through, see if it actually is the person whose card was being used. And so those give us a lot of ability to both real-time watch what's happening around campus, but then also to go back and figure out what has happened if there is an incident. Another important piece of technology that Lauren referenced earlier is the PALM, the Peace of Mind safety device. The PALM is a Bluetooth-enabled speaker and microphone in a key fob that's Bluetooth paired to an app in your smartphone. The reason, and there's a lot of these type of applications you could download or purchase. The reason I chose this one for the campus is it's cold here in Omaha, and I don't want somebody to have to take off a glove, open an app, hit the red button, and call for help. I also don't want a student walking with a $600 phone at 2 in the morning watching the latest Instagram or Pinterest or whatever the latest app is. I want them to put the phone away, carry this device in the hand, and be aware of their surroundings. I'm going to show a short video that'll kind of give you some of the other features and why I selected this device for the campus.
When you see that guy from class who is always asking you out, he's headed your way, and you really don't want to talk to him. Lucky for you, you've got the PALM, a keychain-sized device that can get you out of a variety of situations. You click it once, and Palm Out auto rings back so you can take a fake phone call and get away. Or, if you wanted to call in reinforcements, you can use the Palm to send a discreet SOS text message to your friends for help. Now, your friends can swoop in and help you out of an awkward situation. Now you're leaving the party, and your ride never showed, so you decide to walk. A group of guys start to talk to you, and you don't feel safe. Tap the palm 3 times, and campus security is alerted with your GPS location. No fumbling, typing numbers, or dialing. Even if you've misplaced your keys, the palm can help you find them. Just clip the palm onto your keychain and use the mobile app to help locate them. Palm. Peace of mind in the palm of your hand.
So we began offering the Palm last school year. Right now there's about 760 undergraduates that carry or have purchased the Palm. A lot of them were freshmen who purchased them last year. If you want to purchase a device, you can buy it through the Nest now, and I'll have it waiting for your student when they get to move in August. I'm not going to send it home with you now because chances are half of them won't make it back to campus. But the other reason I really like the Palm device is that it gives you another option besides hitting the nuclear button and calling for the emergency. Because there's going to be situations where your student's in this, some sort of, excuse me, Aaron Judge from the New York Yankees is calling me, so I need to take this.
Say, can you please come to your house? Something is wrong.
You can picture your son or daughter, they're a freshman, they're at a party, there's something going on, and they don't have that social confidence yet to just say, hey, I don't want to talk to you, I just want to get out of here. They reach in their pocket, they hold the button. You can program the contact to be whoever you want. So you got a call, it pops up, oh, this is my mom, I need to take this call. You take the call, you get out of this awkward situation, you don't have to call the cops, you don't have to be embarrassed, you just get out of there. There's other options where you can text a friend or phone a friend. Those are great options as well because we don't know as public safety where you are, what you're doing. You just get help from a friend, and sometimes that's all you need. But then if you do really need the police or you need public safety, you always have that option to click it 3 times. When that happens, we instantly at my dispatch know where you are, who you are, and then you're talking either to my public safety dispatcher if you're on campus, or you're talking to the local 911 anywhere else in the country. So if you're in the old market, and we've had these go off or different places in Omaha, I still get the alert. I know that a Creighton student is in trouble. I know where they are, who they are. I have an emergency contact number. And if I see that the phone call went to 911, but they hung up after 3 seconds because they were embarrassed, we call them and say, hey, you had a Palm device go, you activated it, are you okay? And usually they say, oh, sorry, it was an accident. We say, okay, well, let's just verify. You're at Raising Cane's at 72nd and Dodge. Wow, how do you know that? Well, because you activated your Palm device. So we fortunately have had very few real activations, but we have these out there, and it's just another tool that students can use to get help if they need it. For more information about our security policies and our statistics, by law, we're required to publish an annual security report each October. This is the current one. You can take a hard copy along with you, or you can access on our website and pull down the report there. I would encourage you to take a look at the report. If you have any questions, please call me. The way the statistics are calculated can be confusing sometimes. So just if you're not sure why we have certain numbers in there or don't understand what the statistics are telling you, just give me a call. My cards are there as well. 2 of the tools that we use to communicate primarily with students but also with the broader Creighton community are the CU Alert or Creighton Alert and the Campus Crime Bulletin. The difference is a CU Alert or a Creighton Alert is immediate. You need to know this information now and you need to do something about it. An example would be there's a tornado in Douglas County, you need to go to the shelter. That would be something that goes out on a CU Alert. It goes by email, text, and phone call, voicemail, all simultaneously across the campus. It'll tell you there's a threat and it'll tell you what to do about it. If you want to sign up for those as parents, you can. Just realize that if you're in a different time zone, you may not want to get woke up at 2 in the morning to hear about a tornado coming or tornado warning in Omaha. Maybe you do, but that's your call. The campus crime bulletins are not timely. Those are telling you something that has happened. It's still within a day, but it's not required an immediate action. So you get an email, it says, we've had a rash of smash and grab break-ins in vehicles in such and such a lot. Don't leave your laptops laying out in your front seat. Don't leave your purses in the front seat. General crime prevention tips, not immediate action. So we don't text those out. It comes by email. People can read them at their convenience. So what are the most common crimes? I just mentioned one of them, and they're the most easy to prevent. and it's thefts out of your vehicles and it's thefts out of your rooms. So lock your doors. Almost all the vehicle theft or things stolen out of vehicles, the doors are unlocked. Occasionally we do have smash and grabs where the windows are smashed and things are taken, but in almost all cases, either the doors were unlocked or there was something clearly visible in the front seat and they smashed the window and took it. And it's usually small pilferable electronics or cash. The same way in the rooms, most of the residence hall thefts, the door is unlocked, somebody goes in, and it's either cash or it's small electronics, something that's easily taken, pocketed, and not easily re-identified by whoever it was taken from. So lock the doors, vehicles, and rooms. The other problem is sometimes your student will lock their door, but the roommate will leave it unlocked. So consider whether you might want to bring a safe and have a safe for small pilferable items to put it into the room. If you do bring a safe, get one that can attach to something, otherwise the safe will go with it. I'll talk a little bit about drugs and alcohol. First, you may hear people talk about the TRACK program, or if you were here several years ago, it used to be called the CARE program. This is a medical safety program to help students that are severely intoxicated. It is not a disciplinary program, although there is a disciplinary component that will come along afterward. If a student is 0.15 or above on breath alcohol, or if they're below 0.15, but there's other medical conditions such as they can't stop vomiting or some other concern, the on-call physician will make the decision whether that student should go into the TRACK program. It is not optional. If they're directed to go into the program, they must enter it. We will transport them to the emergency department at 24th and Cumming, which is just north of our campus, and there they'll get a medical assessment, and they won't be released until they feel that the emergency department feels that they are safe to return and be on their own. So our first and only priority that night is making sure that they're safe, that they're going to get through this incident. Yes, later they will go to student discipline with the Office of Community Standards and Wellbeing, but at the moment, that night, all we're trying to do is make sure that they're safe and that they survive and can learn from that. Any alcohol and misdemeanor drug violations are handled by the Office of Community Standards and Wellbeing. We don't bring in Omaha for misdemeanor drug violations. However, for felony drug violations, we do call Omaha Police and the student will be arrested. So what's the difference? Marijuana less than 1 pound is misdemeanor unless it's individually packaged as if for distribution or dealing. Marijuana above 1 pound, THC, wax, and oil, prescription drugs that are not yours, all those are felonies and could result in an arrest by the Omaha Police. The most common ones we see are the THC, wax, and oil. If you're not familiar, it's taking the marijuana and leaching the THC out of the marijuana. It forms a waxy paste that is then used by vaporizing it, often with a butane torch. That's not something I want in res halls, so we take it very seriously, and if you're caught with THC, wax, or oil of any quantity, you will be taken to public safety, and then we'll call Omaha Police to have you arrested. And then the other most common one is Adderall. It is a prescription drug. It should not be shared, and if it is, you could be arrested for a felony drug. We have a lot of free transportation options and a few low-cost options that will help your student get around. The Blue Jay shuttle runs almost 24 hours a day, except for late nights. It's a set pattern. Every 20 minutes, it stops at set stops. The map is on the transportation website, and you can actually see where the shuttles are on their route in an application on your smartphone. The J-Ride takes over from 9 till 2 a.m., and it's much more like an Uber, but it's free. So anything from 15th to 38th, Dodge to Cumming, which is basically just beyond the formal boundaries of our campus, and includes a lot of the neighborhoods. Gifford Park, where a lot of students move after they're moving off campus, and some of the major apartment complexes where a lot of our students live are within the J-Ride radius. You call, we have 2 drivers. They take the call, they take you to the location for free. Zipcar is an option. You can sign up for a Zipcar account, and then you can rent a car for an hour or daily rate. It's a great option if you're only going to use a car a few times a semester and you just wanted to, say, run down to Walmart or go down to a grocery store and you can't find a friend that can take you, you just rent a Zip car for a few hours and use it and put it back. And we also have van rentals. Most commonly, those are used for service trips or small groups going on a trip somewhere. And those are all available through our transportation website. Can you help me?
Yeah.
Okay, there it goes. So parking is the last thing I want to talk about. We're downtown, parking is expensive and real estate is expensive. So our permits are $360 for parking for the year. After each of the major breaks, they go down by 25%. So after fall break, $270, after Christmas, $180, and after spring break, $90. We do have 2 covered parking garages in the main part of campus that have levels that are available to students, and I'll show you a map in a second, and you can take one along with you. We also have 2 large surface lots and a number of smaller surface lots that are available to students. Most of our lots for students are within a quarter mile and a half mile of the residence halls and academic buildings, which is great on a beautiful day like today. Well, you can imagine in the winter, that does feel like a lot further than it is. So I would just ask that you talk over with your student and really think about whether you want to bring a car to campus and fight for parking, or if you just want to wait until you've been here maybe half a semester or after fall break or after Christmas break and kind of figure out whether you need a car or whether it's better to take that $360 and just use it for Uber. There is sufficient parking for all the students, but not all of it is as close as they would like. All the parking lots shown here in green are available to students. The one exception is the green and blue hatched lot up in the northeast corner, and that is specifically for dental students who will be parking at the new dental school. The parking map is kept up to date on our website, and all the lots have signs telling whether it's green for students or blue for faculty and staff. So with that, I'll open up to questions for either Lauren or myself and take it from there. Thank you.